Okay, I am recording.
I am recording. Her name is Beth. His name is Nicholas. These are things I know.
Okay, good. Here we go. Hello and welcome to Predictocast, the podcast where we predict a movie storyline after watching only the first 10 minutes and knowing nothing else about it. I'm Josh, and with me as always is Skinner. Hey, Skinner.
Hey, Josh. Hey, everybody.
We are kicking off our Patreon selected month here with Tamara Drewe. If you listened to our mini last week, we laid out the films that were picked for us by our patron supporter, Darren. And first up, we are doing Tamara Drewe, and we just watched the first 10 minutes. And I don't know. I don't know where we're going.
We've just watched the first 10 minutes, and we know nothing else. And we know a little bit from the movie. And I was excited to not have to do a mini on a movie whose title is just a name. It's hard to make predictions on that. The other thing that it's hard to make predictions on when you do a podcast whose format is you watch the first 10 minutes, click, turn it off, go record a podcast, say what you think is going to happen, come back to the real podcast where you have some fun with like, oh, we didn't see where it was going. The really hard one to do is ensemble comedy.
Yeah, this is going to be tough because there's a lot of characters thrown at us really quickly.
A lot of characters. That means a lot of threads. That means it will not tell you a lot in the first 10 minutes. I like what I have seen. It seems like a very charming movie. It's always interesting to me when a marriage breakup on screen is played for comedy, because you watch everyone else have to deal with the awkwardness of it, and there is inherent humor in that, but the actual emotion of such a thing is actually terrifyingly depressing.
Yes.
And that's what this movie presents us with right away. This is a BBC production along with a bunch of other production logos. So get that out of the way right away.
I'm real grasping at straws. We do open up on at a writer's retreat, so we can go ahead and set the stage for where we're probably going to spend a good bit of the movie, probably at this home and in the little surrounding town nearby. And we get a few of the people who are staying at the retreat. We get, I think, probably the handyman, who may be a potential love interest for some character here or there throughout this thing. He is introduced shirtless, pounding away at a stump of wood with a sledgehammer. Not really sure what he's doing there. I don't know.
It might be an axe, and he might be cutting the wood.
No, I think it's a sledgehammer, and he's just hitting a stump.
I'm just going to smack some wood.
He might not be a very smart guy, because after he finishes this hard labor, he chugs down a bottle of Sprite.
I'm not sure this is actual Sprite. It might be like an old
Sprite.
2-liter, 4-liter of soda that has been filled with water, but it is a green bottle, and it is clear. And all I can imagine, if you were super tired out from this hot action, and you just took this big swill of a giant jug of Sprite, A, it would burn your insides apart. And two, B, you would have... That's like... There's a commercial for Sprite where it's a guy trying to do some freestyle rap in a recording session. And it would play before movies a lot for a while. And he's stumped. He doesn't have the flow. And he then grabs a Sprite, and we see the Sprite go through him as he comes apart like a robot, and then he is inspired. And that struck me as so ridiculous, because the first thing he would do, he went to the microphone after doing that, is belch loudly.
I'm gonna headcanon it that this character, whoever he is, this handyman, is not too bright. That's why he's out there in the morning just smashing a sledgehammer against a log.
About 70% what Josh and I talked back and forth about during this thing is the giant thing of Sprite and then pizza bagels.
Okay, maybe it's not Sprite. Maybe it's Canada Dry, but
I don't know how dry would it have to be for that not to hurt.
The driest Canada Dry ever made.
Maybe it's British Dry. We don't know.
This is Luke Evans, of course. We know him from numerous films. He's been in tons of shit. You've seen him in. You remember him probably best as Dracula in Dracula Untold.
I was hoping that's where you would go with, and not Clash of the Titans.
He's in. Is he in Clash of the Titans?
Yes, that is his breakthrough role.
Was it? No, you're thinking of someone else.
No, he was in Clash of the Titans. I'm sure.
No, incorrect.
Let's see. Cast of Clash of the Titans. Nope. And Luke Evans as Apollo.
Where?
He absolutely is Apollo.
I'm looking at his IMDb right now. He scrubbed it. Oh, wait, there it is.
The real Clash of the Titans is Luke Evans's credit in Clash of the Titans versus Luke Evans not wanting it known.
It's the same year as this movie, so.
Oh my god. Anyway, he was in The Hobbit. Okay, he was in The Hobbit. Yeah, you know him from The
Was
Hobbit.
He? I mean,
he's Bard the Bowman.
Let me go through this IMDb and see. I'll tell you what he was in.
How are your eyes working tonight? You're gonna find it this time?
Let's see here. I
like that you know him straight from Dracula Untold, but
let's see here. Oh, there it is. I found it.
Did you find Fast and the Furious 6 yet?
I found The Fate of the Furious.
Maybe he was in both.
Oh, he's also in the classic film The Great Train Robbery.
Oh, good times. Good times. But he's also in Tamara Drewe.
Yes, he is in Tamara Drewe, the movie that we are here to talk about today. So we also have, not only do we have this little writer's retreat, we kind of see some of the folks who are there at the writer's retreat who are working on their various little their pieces. We have one woman who looks longingly at our handyman as he comes striding back into the yard, belching his Sprite breath, shouldering that sledgehammer that he's just been using to pound into a wood stump for an hour.
Pounding
for
the wood
no
out
reason. And she's kind of longingly looking at him, and she goes back to writing, and she's writing this very sort of flowery, romantic prose about love and things like that. And then we cut over to another woman who is writing this sort of feverish thing where she's cursing a lot and talking about what is she talking about?
Blood, violence.
Yes. So yeah, she's writing some sort of crime novel and is talking about, various things happening, and it's a nice little contrast. And then we cut inside, we see another guy who's also writing some stuff, and it kind of jumps around all over the grounds. And we cut to a guy who will learn his name Nicholas, and he gets a telephone call from some very young woman who has arrived in town, who he is apparently having an affair with, and she has somehow made her way to his town, and she wants to see him. And he says he hasn't told his wife yet that he wants to get a divorce, and that it's not an easy thing to do because they have, been together for 25 years. And she's making a lot of demands of like, well, if you don't, I'm going to come and find you. And he tries to kind of put her off by telling her to stay at the pub, and he'll come down and he'll visit. So we have that little plot going on. And then we meet some school children, right, as well.
Yeah, they're reading them, like, after having this wonderful scene, which is like having it narrated, a screenwriting group to you, which is about as awkward as my life would ever hope to be. And then we get contrast with these two who are reading a body article from a young person's magazine about breast size.
Oh yes.
And these two.
Why did I say it like that?
Wow, you should edit that out of this podcast.
I'm just gonna leave it in there.
I hope from your awkward reaction that people will know that that's not how you meant to react, but it is, in fact, you're still thinking about that Sprite. You're getting so excited.
Oh, you said breast. I thought you said breath. I was thinking about that Sprite breath.
What does Sprite breath smell like to you?
Well, it's just that belchy. It's just that belchy breath.
That belchy breath with a hint of lime.
That's right.
Yeah, these two are. There's their whole part. They're having conversations about stuff and seem to be up to no good. Small town kids who maybe need more distractions. We later see them throw eggs at a car.
Oh,
and
that's
then
right.
Go immediately back to where they were started in the movie.
Oh yeah, they're sitting at sort of this makeshift bus stop. It looks like a random lean-to that's been put together with 2x4s and boards and stuff. And
it's not a real bus stop unless it has a giant advertisement for Scientology on it. Honestly,
I mean that's how you know for sure.
Wait, I'll meet you at the bus stop. Which one? I don't know. The one with all these giant Scientologist advertisements that plastered to them. Can't narrow it down. That's all of them, right?
Yeah, and so we have all these characters. We have this guy who is obviously having an affair. And I thought at this point, I was like, okay, well, this is going to be like a central, mystery where we're not going to know what's going on with all of that, and it's going to play out of this guy trying to sneak around, and eventually he's going to get caught, of course, and
like the classic dating 2 women at once segments, or 2 men at once segments in so many fun British comedy romps.
Yes, but they don't do that, and I kind of I sort of admire them. The movie for not just stretching that out for too long, because it does give it gives some agency to Beth, who is Nicholas's wife, because she comes in, she brings him a little pizza bagel. I don't think it's that, but that's what it looks like. And
I mean, that's the perfect food. Write to me at the podcast, right at Skinner at the podcast at the Gmail, and tell me if there's a better food out there that is more perfect than the pizza bagel. And I will write you back, no.
I can't think of one,
because there is none. That is a fact.
What about a Fig Newton?
No, pizza bagel.
What about a Fig Newton with pizza toppings shoved inside it?
I'm afraid not. It's pizza bagel.
What about now here
no.
we go. What about a cheeseburger with the top bun being a pizza?
Only if you took the top bun off and replaced it with a bagel and made it a pizza bagel.
Speaking of, there is a place out here in Los Angeles that has that. Can
they please sponsor the show? Because I would love that.
It's a burger with the top bun is a pizza, and it's called the Meatza Burger.
They could have done better than that. I don't have a better answer than that.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. Yeah, it's the Meatza Burger.
Pizza at the restaurant. That's what their spokesman Jar Jar Binks would say.
The restaurant is called Meatzilla. I had it. I shared it with a friend, and thank God I did, because I would not still be alive. So she comes in, and Nicholas is also a writer. He is a crime novelist, and he tries to come up with an excuse to get out of the house to go and meet up with his secret love. And she says, well, maybe I'll come with you. He's like, oh, well, I'll go out and I'll take a drive and clear my head, maybe go have a pint and just, kind of try to figure out what I'm going to do with this story. And she's like, maybe I'll just come out with you because we haven't really gone out in a while. It would be nice to get out, maybe go have dinner somewhere. And he keeps trying to push her off and push her off and push her off. But she insists, and he is a piece of shit. Like, let's just get that out of the way. He sucks.
It's great only in that the movie immediately has her have agency and say like, oh, you're clearly and obviously cheating on me. Like, she gets it immediately because he is so over the top a dick, and he follows this up by being a dick, which of course he is, but like, he is just this arrogant shit about it. Like, just like the worst kind of person who uses like, I'm a creative person, so I deserve to get to fuck around on you shit. Which,
what does he say? He says something about like, we're two ropes that are knotted together at the top, but are like the bottoms are allowed to be free and explore.
It was a compass. Our compass always
compass.
Yeah, points in the same direction, but our bottoms go, I don't know, can go
doesn't
anywhere.
Make any sense. Your compass is broken.
Oh, his moral compass is broken.
Oh, clever.
But he's like, creative types like me need experiences and can't be tied down and need freedom. And she basically says, thankfully, none of it is shit. And we get to see them argue very realistically for a while everyone else is kind of awkward and trying to eat. And she throws a plant at him, which is very fun.
Yeah. So I think that because this happened in the first 10 minutes and blew up my theory that it would kind of be parsed out over the course of the film, I think that part of this story, at least in regards to Beth and Nicholas, will be him going to see this young woman that he has been having an affair with, realizing that he actually doesn't care about her, realizing that he does still miss his wife, because there's a reason that he married her in the first place. There's a reason they were together for 25 years, and he'll try to get her back. But I think that she is gonna shack up with some other young writer who hasn't shown up yet. Maybe there's a young, handsome writer who shows up to work on his stuff, and they kind of hit it off.
I am curious about one thing about this.
Yes.
And here's my theory. That they're not the main characters because no one we've met yet named is Tamara Drewe.
That is true. So there is no Tamara Drewe or Tamara Drewe, however you would say it.
My theory is the woman in the red shirt who we see very late in the 10 minutes who shows up, who Josh wasn't sure if it was the other woman with dark hair who was young.
Yeah.
I believe I'm going to guess that is the titular character is then the actual main character of the movie who we have not met in the first 10 minutes. Because I know for certain no one we've met yet is the titular character of the movie that has a titular character.
That is true. We have not officially met her yet, but I do think you're right.
It's like watching the first 10 minutes of Transformers and not meeting Mr. Transformer.
And you've never seen the Transformers films, right?
I haven't. I also I've never watched the Fast and the Furious movies. I don't know when Mr. Fast and when Mr. Furious show up.
Boy, but when they do and they get together, sparks fly.
I would imagine. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so goddamn many of them.
I think that I think you're right. It's probably the woman who has eggs thrown on her car by those two schoolgirls at some point.
Ragamuffins.
Yes. So I think maybe she will have a thing with the very handsome but dumb groundskeeper.
I love that you just based this on his beverage preference.
And the fact that he's slamming a sledgehammer into a stump. And he's been doing it. He's been doing it for an hour.
I'm not going to ask you to ever rewind to find out if that's in fact what he was using.
I refuse to go back and look at it to see if there was actually a piece of wood that he was chopping with an axe. But I'm just going to say that he just goes out every morning and he just swings a sledgehammer at a stump of wood.
He's playing Stardew Valley all wrong.
He's training for a tough mudder.
The toughest mudder. One with tree stumps. And no mud.
For all the other random writer characters that have been set up, are they all just going to publish successful books by the end of the film?
My theory is that whatever happens, because they set up that like Nicholas.
They're all going to write about it.
Yes, because they're all not successful. Like one has been published, but he doesn't sell what he says because his kind of books don't sell. One is internet.
That's just what a shitty writer says. My books are too smart.
One says she published her own stuff on the internet and it didn't sell, and one hasn't sold at all. And we established when Nicholas and Beth are fighting that he has put his mistress into his books. Like there's a character named after her, which makes it more of a betrayal because it's a betrayal of the heart. And then so I think that sets up that these writers put what they experience into their own books. So like whatever happens in this movie will somehow end up in all their books and cause all their books to sell better.
Ooh, I like that.
And I think they will all be comedy of goofballs the entire movie.
I think so. Maybe they'll be kind of like sort of like a Greek chorus type thing, like constantly commenting on the things that are happening. There's
the one who's writing the Angry Crime books says she writes lesbian crime, and one of the servers at the resort, not muscular boy one, has a physical visceral reaction to this. So maybe those two will end up together.
Oh, maybe there's like some. Well, but isn't that person who's serving one of the schoolgirls?
No, that's not her at all. It's a totally different person. I really want to stress.
I thought they were the same person.
This is not the first person in this 10 minutes that Josh has said that about.
Lots of doppelgangers running around in this little town.
This is what we record twice or three times a week. Usually once in the weekend. We're super rested. The best episodes you ever heard. Middle of the week, they're okay.
Don't lie to people.
And then the end of the week, just things get a little loose. Josh's eyes wander.
I can't find people's names in IMDb. I can't.
All I can think about is that pizza burger and some Sprite. It's almost Friday night.
I do have to say something very important, which is that this film is directed by Stephen Frears. And you know what else Mr. Frears has directed?
Clash of the Titans?
No. I mean, he has directed a ton of shit. He's been around for quite some time. He did actually a pretty fun movie called The Grifters back in 1990 with John Cusack and Kim Basinger. I think it's pretty good. It's fun.
Basinger?
I'd say Basinger. Is that not right?
I'm not sure anymore.
Okay. Well, anyway, and it's not Kim Basinger. I'm thinking of LA Confidential for some reason. It's Angelica Houston and Annette Bening. So definitely not Kim Basinger or Basinger.
Wow. This is the first
carrying
podcast.
Over.
This is the first podcast ever where a host mistook Kim Basinger for Angelica Houston.
I didn't mistake them. I just couldn't remember because Annette Bening, they both have blonde hair in the movie. So I got confused.
Please continue.
Anyway,
Mary Riley, right?
No, fuck off. What I was going to say, he also did High Fidelity, and what I was going to say is that he also directed a favorite of ours, even though we've never seen the film, Florence Foster Jenkins.
Boy, you would have to be a very long time listener who's very dedicated to listen to the spin-off episodes we do to really enjoy the fact that there's a history of this podcast with the movie Florence Foster Jenkins.
Yeah, go back and listen to our I think our very first Oscar prediction special back in early 2017. It was one of the first things we did. And I think we proclaimed our love for Florence Foster Jenkins on that episode.
I'm pretty sure we did over the span of 200 hours.
That's right. So maybe not a ton of predictions in this one, unfortunately, but I don't know. I think we did as well as we can.
I think we can. There's not a lot given to us here, but this is the start of what looks to be a very good ensemble comedy of some sort. Like it has a good pedigree. It has good actors. It's beautiful looking. Like I want to go to this writer's retreat. I don't want to be around these writers. I definitely don't want to be around a fighting couple. Holy shit. After being stuck inside for months, the last thing I want is to finally get free and have someone break up mere feet across from me. No, thank you.
Yeah, no, not interested.
Not interested. I just watched it, and that was tough. Not real people. People in the movies, fake people. But I'm looking forward to this more than most of our movies because it appears to be a real fucking movie.
Yes, it does appear to be a real movie. This was again picked by our patron supporter Darren. I don't think that he gave us anything terrible to watch this month. At least fingers crossed. So I feel like
as you do consider Weekend at Bernie's 2 a classic.
Hey, I'm looking forward to that one. One thing I have to say, looking through the cast list, there is a character named Boss the Dog.
Yes, dog.
And I don't know if that's a character, like a human character, or it's a dog because it's listed as being played by Albert Clark, and I cannot imagine a dog named Albert Clark.
I would name a dog Albert Clark at this point. After hearing you say that, that is nothing I could want more. I love dogs, not only with human, like normal people names, but first and last names that aren't the last names of the family that owns them.
Hi, we're the Mitchells, and this is our dog, Albert Clark.
Why? So good. So good. What a great dog name.
There's also another character named Penny Upminster.
Well, now you're just making fun of British names, and that's unfair.
I'm sorry. Are we going to get any more scenes of him smashing that stump?
Maybe we'll get a scene of him smashing something else.
Oh, maybe. He'll put the sledgehammer down.
And then have a big swig of Sprite.
After sex, I like to recover with some Sprite.
And then he just has the worst belch. There's so many bubbles. How would you do that?
Okay, well, I'm not going to say the joke that I was just thinking of because it might be a little too gross for our show. But that's stick around impressive. After the credits music and maybe you'll hear it. Woo!
That would mean I would have to hear it and I don't want to.
Too bad. I think this is the perfect place to wrap up this absolutely insane mini episode.
Not even a mini episode, it's part 1.
Oh, that's right. Holy shit.
This is half our coverage of this fucking movie.
We are falling apart. I am falling apart, rather, in the first episode of the month. This really bodes well for the rest of the month. Track my decreasing sanity over time.
And then it also will spike back when you finally get to your precious Weekend at Bernie's 2, available only to Patreon subscribers. I just gotta hang on till we get there. I gotta get through all this good shit and then to get to my Bernie. That's right. But until Thursday, when we are back talking about the rest of Tamara Drewe, I've been Josh. I've been Skinner.
And we predict you'll join us. If you like the show, subscribe, rate, and review us over at Apple Podcasts. We're on Twitter and Instagram at predictocast, and you can find our entire back catalog at predictocast.com. Our theme music is by Kyle Sledge. Find more of his work at soundcloud.com/geistmusic. To get monthly bonus content, sign up at patreon.com/predictocast. As always, thanks for listening. So the joke that I was going to say is that whoever this groundskeeper guy ends up with, they'll tell him, "Wow, your cum tastes a lot like Sprite."
I'm not sure that's how it works unless he somehow fucked the Sprite bottle.
No. You eat a lot of pineapple and it does some stuff. You drink a lot of Sprite, it also does some stuff.
Let's leave that to your pineapple podcast.
Everybody's welcome.